Our planet is a world of water, vast, deep, and mysterious. Sunlight fades quickly in the ocean's depths, but it's never silent down there. Whales sing, dolphins chatter, and even shrimp add to the underwater symphony. Sound travels farther and faster in water, making it the main sense for many marine creatures. With hydrophones, we began to hear the ocean's secrets: whale migrations, volcanic rumbles, and more. But among the familiar sounds, we found strange, unexplained signals, mystery noises with no clear source. In 1997, the ocean broadcast a sound so loud and strange it would capture the world's imagination. In 1997, deep in the South Pacific, a network of hydrophones picked up something extraordinary. The system, once built to track submarines, now listened for science. Suddenly, a powerful, rising sound echoed across thousands of kilometers, far louder than any known animal. Scientists called it the Bloop. Its volume suggested a source larger than any whale, yet it matched no known creature or event. The Bloop's origin: a remote, unexplored patch of ocean. The mystery was born. What could make such a sound in the deep? News of the Bloop spread quickly, igniting wild speculation online. Was it a giant squid, a prehistoric monster, or something stranger? The Bloop's location was eerily close to the fictional city of R'lyeh from H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu. Fans joked, was this the sound of Cthulhu awakening? The Bloop became a modern legend, inspiring stories, art, and games. It tapped into our fascination with ocean monsters and the unknown. While scientists searched for answers, the world embraced the mystery. The Bloop wasn't found by chance. It was detected by a vast network of underwater microphones once used for Cold War surveillance. After the Cold War, scientists repurposed this system to listen to the planet itself. NOAA researchers catalogued the ocean's sounds: earthquakes, volcanoes, whale songs. Then the Bloop appeared, louder and stranger than anything before. It was flagged by computer algorithms, not explorers. The system built to find submarines had uncovered a new mystery. On that day in 1997, the watchers in the deep realized they weren't alone. The Bloop was just one of many mysterious ocean sounds. Others included Julia, the whistle, and slow down. These powerful, low-frequency noises traveled across entire ocean basins, their sources unknown. The Bloop stood out for its sheer volume, far louder than any ship or whale. No known animal could produce such a sound. These unexplained signals revealed the ocean as a noisy, dynamic world full of secrets. Each new sound was a reminder of how little we know about the deep. And the Bloop remained the biggest question mark of all. To understand the Bloop, scientists dissected the sound itself, converting the raw audio into a visual spectrogram. The spectrogram showed the sound's frequency over time, revealing a distinct upward sweep. This unique signature was a crucial clue. The Bloop's profile had a more organic feel, leading some to speculate an animal origin. Another key piece was the sound's location. Triangulation pinpointed its origin to a remote, hostile part of the South Pacific. This remote location deepened the mystery. It was a sound from nowhere. Scientists knew what the Bloop sounded like and where it came from, but not what had made it. In the aftermath of the discovery, the team at NOAA began ruling things out. It wasn't an earthquake, a bomb, or a known marine mammal. The process of elimination left them with unsettling possibilities. The first whispers of a theory began to form around a single, incredible idea: a giant, unknown animal. Dr. Fox noted the sound's frequency was consistent with a living creature. If it was an animal, its size would have to be immense, dwarfing even the blue whale. It would have to be a true monster of the deep, a creature from our most ancient myths. There was no physical evidence, only a sound. It tapped into our innate sense of wonder about the ocean. However, for many scientists, the giant monster theory was a step too far. Scientists began to look for a more plausible, if less romantic, answer. Faced with a mystery, the scientific community began its work. The initial thrill gave way to a disciplined process. The Bloop was fascinating, but science demands evidence and testable ideas. Researchers examined the data, challenging initial theories. The idea of a sea monster was exciting, but not a starting point. The process began with a list of all possible sources, including industrial activity and strange weather. Could it be a geological event? The Bloop's acoustic signature didn't match known geological sounds. Computer modeling was an important tool. Scientists created simulations to see what event could produce the bloop. None of these models produced a perfect match. This methodical process of elimination is the heart of scientific inquiry. By ruling out possibilities, scientists hoped to narrow the field until only the truth remained. A more promising line of inquiry was emerging from the cold, icy waters of the far south. Scientists turned toward the general location of the bloop. The sound originated in the far South Pacific. It is a lonely stretch of ocean that borders the Antarctic ice sheet. This immense continent of ice is not static, constantly shifting, cracking, and breaking apart. Scientists began to wonder if the answer to the mystery might lie in the ice itself. Could the bloop be the sound of Antarctica in motion? Glaciers and ice shelves are known to produce a vast array of sounds. This process, known as calving, creates enormous icebergs. These events are incredibly powerful and release huge amounts of energy. An iceberg crashing into the sea would certainly be loud enough to be heard across an entire ocean basin. This new focus on ice led researchers to re-examine the acoustic data from the polar regions. It was a complex and noisy world, an icescape of sound. Scientists had to start thinking of the ice as a dynamic acoustic object. The monster theory was fading, replaced by the grinding and cracking of a continent of ice on the move. The idea evolved into the Cryoseismic Hypothesis. A cryoseism, or icequake, is a seismic event caused by the sudden cracking of ice. Stress builds within a glacier. When released, it sends vibrations through the ice and water. This offered a physical mechanism for the bloop's power and acoustic character. Seismologist Emil Okel noted the bloop's proximity to the Antarctic coast, proposing it was the sound of a large iceberg cracking from the ice sheet. The sound came from the fracturing process itself. This offered an explanation for the bloop's strange spectrogram. The fracturing could create complex, organic-sounding vibrations. The monster was not an animal, but the ice continent itself. Scientists deployed hydrophones around Antarctica. The Cryoseismic Hypothesis was the strongest contender. The investigation into the bloop opened a new frontier in polar science, revealing that the ice sheets are far from silent. Listening to the ice became a way to monitor its health. Every crack and rumble tells a story, which is critical in an era of climate change. The sounds of the ice can give early warnings about accelerating glacial melt or the potential collapse of a major ice shelf. The bloop helped pioneer acoustic glaciology. Scientists began to record similar, powerful, low-frequency sounds. Sounds like slowdown could also be explained by the movement of large icebergs. The symphony of the unknown was being deciphered, not by sea monsters, but by polar geology. The scientific journey to explain the bloop demonstrates how science progresses. The Cryoseismic Hypothesis provided a solution, replacing fantasy with nature. The mystery of the bloop pushed us to listen more closely to our planet. The public's imagination set sail. The bloop story was too good for scientific journals. It was a tale of a mysterious, powerful sound from the deepest, darkest corners of the ocean. It was louder than any known animal, proof of a monstrous creature. The bloop became evidence for a creature from our collective nightmares. The ocean hides its secrets well. The story spread like wildfire across the early internet. The monster was a blank canvas onto which anyone could project their fears. The idea of an icequake couldn't compete with a real-life sea monster. The bloop became a modern legend. It demonstrated a human need to find life in the unknown. The myth of the bloop got a boost from an eerie coincidence: its location. The coordinates were in a remote part of the South Pacific Ocean. For fans of H.P. Lovecraft, this location rang an ominous bell. It was close to the fictional location of Relief from. The proximity was undeniable. The bloop was the sound of Cthulhu stirring. The Cthulhu connection provided the bloop with a terrifying backstory. The story was irresistible, cementing the bloop's place in mythology. The rise of the bloop myth coincided with the explosion of the internet. Online communities formed around mysteries like the bloop. Websites, forums, and blogs dedicated to unexplained phenomena sprang up. The bloop was always a star attraction, allowing the story to grow, untethered from scientific investigation. The internet allowed the myth to be shared instantly, creating a consensus that the bloop was a giant sea creature. Artists drew interpretations, writers penned fictional stories, giving the myth a life of its own. A digital Kraken was born from pixels and bandwidth. The internet gave a voice to everyone, and many preferred the narrative of a monster hunt. The Bloop became a symbol of defiance against institutional science, a testament to collective imagination. The Bloop monster was a crowdsourced creation, a beast built by a global community. The digital Kraken was very real in the minds of millions. As its fame grew online, the Bloop spilled over into mainstream popular culture. The mystery became a recurring subject in documentaries. Shows exploring deep-sea mysteries would frequently feature the eerie, sped-up sound. The Bloop had officially become a media star, influencing various forms of entertainment. Several found-footage horror movies have been based on expeditions to find the sound's source, often linking it to the Cthulhu legend. Video games have also embraced the legend, using the Bloop as an environmental sound effect. This integration into popular culture has cemented the Bloop's legacy, intertwining it with the idea of a giant, unknown creature. The Bloop has become a permanent fixture in our modern gallery of monsters. The enduring appeal of the Bloop monster myth raises a fascinating question. Why do we so desperately want to believe? In an age dominated by science, we still seem to have a deep-seated need for mystery. The Bloop provides a perfect outlet for this need. It represents one of the last great wildernesses on our planet, where our imagination can still run free. Believing in the Bloop is a way of holding on to the idea that our world still contains genuine wonders. A colossal living creature is a more emotionally satisfying explanation than an impersonal geological process. The thought of sharing our planet with such a creature is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. It connects us to the ancient traditions of myth-making. A giant sea monster defies the orderly world explained by science. This desire for a more magical reality keeps myths like the Bloop alive. Ultimately, our fascination with the Bloop reveals our enduring capacity for wonder and our reluctance to let go of mystery. It is a symbol of the great unknown, a mystery that we cherish. Years of listening and data collection led to a breakthrough. In 2005, a team led by Robert Ziak studied sounds of shifting ice using hydrophones. They recorded powerful acoustic events from glaciers. Spectrograms revealed a stunning similarity to the 1997 Bloop recording. The acoustic signatures were a near-perfect match. This confirmed the Cryoseismic Hypothesis. Scientists confirmed the source: massive icebergs calving. The sounds were generated by stress release as cracks tore through the ice. An icequake. In 2012, NOAA stated the sound was consistent with large icequakes. The verdict was in. The Bloop was the groan of our planet's frozen south. The science was settled. With a firm scientific explanation in hand, NOAA and the wider scientific community began deconstructing the popular monster myth. This was a delicate exercise in public communication. The Cthulhu and giant squid theories were far more entertaining and had become deeply entrenched in the public consciousness. Simply stating that the Bloop was an icequake was not enough. They had to explain why the monster theory was no longer tenable. The key argument was the sheer physics of sound production. For a living creature to generate a sound as loud as the Bloop, it would violate the known principles of biology and physiology. Scientists explained there is a physical limit to the size an animal can reach, constrained by factors like gravity, metabolism, and the availability of food. A creature large enough to produce the Bloop would be many times bigger than a blue whale, the largest animal that has ever lived. Such a colossal organism would have an impossibly high metabolism, needing to consume vast quantities of food that the deep ocean simply cannot provide. Furthermore, its biological tissues would not be strong enough to generate the acoustic pressure required. The monster theory, while exciting, simply did not align with the fundamental rules of life on Earth. Another crucial point was the lack of any supporting evidence. If a population of such gigantic creatures existed, we would expect to see other signs of their presence. There would be occasional strandings, carcasses found on the sea floor, or perhaps even sightings by deep-sea submersibles. We would expect to hear more Bloop-like calls, as social animals rarely exist in complete isolation. Yet, in all our centuries of exploring the oceans, we have found absolutely nothing to suggest the existence of such megafauna. The Bloop was a single, powerful sound, not a piece of a larger biological puzzle. The absence of evidence in this case was indeed strong evidence of absence. Ultimately, the deconstruction of the myth relied on the principle of Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is most likely the correct one. The icequake theory provided a simple, elegant solution using known, observable phenomena. The monster theory, by contrast, required the invention of a new, undiscovered animal of impossible proportions, living a secret life that defies biology. While less romantic, the icequake explanation was far more plausible and scientifically sound. The challenge for science communication was to present this conclusion not as a disappointment, but as a fascinating discovery in its own right, revealing the hidden power of our planet's cryosphere. Despite the scientific consensus, the icequake explanation hasn't been universally accepted. The monster myth remains powerful, and some raise doubts about the official story. Skeptics point to the uniqueness of the bloop sound. Some doubt stems from early statements by NOAA scientists. Initial comments suggested a living creature, leading some to believe the shift to the icequake theory was a cover-up. The icequake theory is part of a larger family of unexplained ocean sounds. The bloop may be solved, but the ocean's acoustic mysteries continue. These doubts highlight the gap between scientific consensus and public perception. A sliver of doubt keeps the monster theory alive. Scientific facts don't always win hearts and minds. Regardless of the public's lingering belief in sea monsters, the scientific legacy of the bloop is profound. The mystery acted as a catalyst for research, drawing attention and funding to ocean acoustics. One of the most important legacies is the birth of acoustic glaciology as a vital tool for climate science. Acoustic sensors are now deployed across the polar regions, providing data on the health of glaciers. Furthermore, the public's fascination with the bloop had a positive impact on ocean science outreach. While many may have come for the monster, they stayed to learn about blue whales and the real-life wonders of the abyss. It is a perfect case study in how science works to replace mystery with knowledge. While the answer, a fracturing iceberg, may not have been the monster some people hoped for, the journey expanded our understanding of the planet. The bloop taught us to listen more closely to the world. The story of the bloop is more than just the tale of a strange sound. It is a story about the vastness of our planet and the enduring power of mystery. For a time, one loud, unidentified noise captured the world's attention. It reminded us that in an age of satellites and deep-sea robots, there are still frontiers left to explore. The bloop became a focal point for our collective imagination. It gave us a reason to look at the empty blue spaces on the map and wonder what might be hidden there, beneath the waves, shrouded in darkness and immense pressure. The sound was a question mark broadcast to the entire world. This single acoustic event created two parallel stories. In one, scientists patiently pursued the evidence. They followed the data from the remote South Pacific to the frozen shores of Antarctica. Theirs was a story of methodical work, of hypothesis and verification. It was a journey that replaced a fantastical beast with a geological force of nature, an icequake of immense power. They revealed that the Earth itself has a voice, one that can sound surprisingly alive. Their conclusion was a testament to the power of science to solve even the most baffling of puzzles, turning the unknown into the known. In the other story, the public imagination ran wild. The bloop became the call of a monster, a modern-day Kraken, or the slumbering Cthulhu. This narrative was not constrained by the laws of physics or biology. It was a story fueled by our love for the fantastic and our deep-seated fascination with the monstrous. This myth, born on the internet and nurtured in popular culture, shows our deep need for wonder. We want the world to be more than what we can see and measure. We want to believe that colossal, undiscovered things are still possible, waiting for us in the final, unconquered wilderness. These two narratives, the scientific and the mythical, are not truly in opposition. They are two different ways of responding to the same profound feeling, a sense of awe in the face of the unknown. The bloop was a symphony composed by a fracturing glacier, but its audience heard the music in their own way. Some heard the intricate beauty of physics and geology in action. Others heard the thrilling overture to an adventure, a call from a creature of impossible scale. Both interpretations speak to a fundamental human desire to connect with a world that is bigger and more mysterious than our everyday lives. The legacy of the Bloop is not defined by the answer to its mystery, but by the questions it inspired us to ask. The search for its source had a tangible and lasting impact on science. It propelled the field of ocean acoustics forward, encouraging researchers to listen more closely to the planet. The puzzle demanded better technology and new analytical methods. Scientists refined their ability to hear the subtle and powerful sounds of our world, from the deep rumble of the Earth's crust to the quiet clicks of marine life. The Bloop was a wake-up call, urging us to pay attention to the ocean's rich and informative soundscape. Perhaps its most significant contribution was helping us to hear the cry of the ice. The confirmation that the Bloop was an icequake transformed how we monitor our planet's polar regions. Acoustic monitoring is now a vital tool in the study of climate change. The groans, cracks, and booms of the glaciers are no longer just mystery sounds. They are crucial data points. They tell us about the health of the ice sheets and give us warnings about the pace of global warming. The Bloop, a sound born of ice, inadvertently gave us a new way to listen to the story of our changing climate, an echo of discovery that continues to inform us today. Beyond the laboratory and the field station, the Bloop left its mark on our culture. It became a gateway to science for millions. The story was so compelling that it drew people in, making them curious about oceanography, marine biology, and the technology of underwater listening. For a generation that grew up with the internet, the Bloop was their very own Jacques Cousteau adventure. It made the deep sea exciting and relevant. Even if people came for the monster, many stayed to learn about the real wonders of the abyss, fostering a greater appreciation for the planet's largest and most vital ecosystem. The Bloop serves as a perfect illustration of the scientific process itself. It shows how science confronts an anomaly. It begins with wonder and confusion, followed by a period of speculation where all ideas, even wild ones, are considered. Then comes the hard work of gathering evidence, testing theories, and eliminating possibilities until the most plausible explanation remains. The journey from it could be a monster. To it is a fracturing iceberg is a story of human ingenuity and our relentless quest for knowledge. It is a powerful reminder that the real world, when closely examined, is often more astonishing than any myth. Mysteries like the Bloop will always hold a special place in our hearts. They speak to the part of us that is still a child, looking at the world with wide-eyed wonder. The deep ocean remains one of the last true frontiers on Earth. It is a realm of crushing pressure, eternal darkness, and unimaginable scale. We know that its floor is home to mountain ranges taller than the Alps, and trenches deeper than Everest is high. We know that life thrives there in forms that seem alien to us. It is the perfect setting for a mystery, a place where our imagination can still roam free without bumping into the hard edges of established fact. The appeal of such mysteries is timeless. Long before we had hydrophones, sailors told stories of krakens and sea serpents. They saw the vast empty horizon of the ocean and filled it with creatures born of their fears and their hopes. The Bloop is simply a modern version of these ancient tales. It is a sea serpent for the digital age, one discovered not by a lookout in a crow's nest, but by a computer analyzing acoustic data. The technology has changed, but the fundamental human impulse to populate the unknown with wonders and monsters has remained exactly the same. We are natural-born storytellers and explorers. These unsolved puzzles are essential for our sense of discovery. They remind us that we do not have all the answers. They keep our curiosity alive and fuel our desire to explore further and understand more. Every time we send a submersible into the abyss, we are answering the call of mysteries like the Bloop. We go down into the dark because we are driven by the fundamental question, what else is down there? The possibility of finding something completely new, something that will change our understanding of life or our planet, is what drives science and exploration forward into the unknown. Ultimately, the Bloop teaches us that our planet is still capable of surprising us. It is a world of immense power and subtle beauty, filled with phenomena we are only just beginning to comprehend. The ocean will continue to send us its strange signals, its acoustic puzzles from the deep, and we will continue to listen, to analyze and to wonder. Because in every mysterious sound, In every whisper from the abyss, we hear an invitation. It is an invitation to keep exploring, to keep questioning, and to never lose our sense of awe for the vast, deep, and wonderfully mysterious world in which we live.